Okay, hi everyone. It's Susan and Adam with Mods for Quads, and today our athlete is Sam Ferguson. And Sam is joining us from Colorado also. He lives in our neck of the woods. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought. So we have our little questions that we wanted to start digging in on with you. And tell us a little bit about your injury and the day it happened and kind of physically what your situation is.
Glad to. I had family living in Aspen since the early 70s, and I've been coming out and visiting sporadically since 1982. And then I had an opportunity to come out here and finish the college internship, live with my cousin and my aunt for the summer. And Sunday afternoon, I was going to cook a barbecue for my family and their friends as a thank you for letting me come out for the summer. And I'd prepped everything ready to go, and there were a couple hours until the guests would arrive. So my cousin and I decided to mountain bike up Basalt Mountain. And as we got towards the top, we encountered a Forest Service gate. I hopped off my bike and propped the gate open with a piece of wire. And we rode another 10 to 15 minutes until we got to the snowpack. My dog, pardon me, my cousin said he would play with his dog for a while. And I said, hey, gate's open. I'm going to head down. And with the knowledge that gate was still open, I kind of let the bike run and came around a corner at a very high rate of speed and noticed the gate was now closed. Didn't have much time to react, whether I'd run into a wall, run off the road and off of a cliff, or try to somehow slide under the gate. And that's the option that I took. Unfortunately, while I was sliding underneath the gate, my pedal hit the ground, high-sided me into the lower bar of the gate, and came to rest on the other side of it, and thought, I was just tangled in my bike until I reached down and grabbed my leg and realized something was very wrong. And having grown up, surfing, mountain biking, climbing, I always knew the risks and tried to always mitigate those through knowledge, experience, and seeking out others who have done it before me to gain their knowledge and experience. But ultimately, knowing that I was taking a risk, and at some point, hopefully not, but I might have to face those consequences. So as I lay there waiting for rescue, I kind of challenged myself. These are the consequences of your actions. It's time for you to try to live the best life you could. And that was difficult because, going to Craig Hospital and going through all the rehabilitation, I had that mindset, but I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't have my confidence that I had before, my self-esteem that was once there. So it took me a while to find myself again.
Yeah. How old did you say you were?
I was 25.
Wow. And so where did you break your spine? Or what exactly?
I had a burst fracture of the 12th thoracic and first lumbar.
Gotcha. So you're in Craig Hospital, you're 25. Did they put steel in your back, or how did you begin to?
They stabilized my spine with 2 titanium rods. It was difficult because I was in this turtle shell chest brace the whole time that I'm trying to learn how to maneuver a wheelchair and how to occupational therapy, learn how to open doors, learn how to get in a car. But I made it through.
So you're 25. Your life as you previously kind of knew it had drastically changed. It kind of hit you on a soul level. It sounds like, kind of, where do you go from here? And then you stayed in the area, and like, how did your life progress after that?
Took a little bit of time off from work. I got hurt June 11th, 1995. Got out of the hospital, I think at the end of August. Went back to where I was living at Missouri State, and kind of started packing things up with the fact that I had a job still in Aspen. So I kind of picked everything up and moved to Aspen. Had family there, had Craig Hospital there, which was a great resource, and had a job. So it seemed like the right move.
What's your job? I'm sorry. Did we say what you do? I don't know.
My undergraduate degree was in hospitality administration. I was actually engaged to be married, and Aspen was just a stepping stone for Ashland, Oregon, where I was going to resume managing a restaurant and teaching kids how to climb for United Way Boys and Girls Club.
Wow. So did you still end up getting married?
Unfortunately, at that time, had I gotten married, she would have had to assume a mountain of medical debt. Kind of delayed things, put things off, but ultimately, a couple years later, we ended up splitting, going our own ways.
Yeah. So one of our questions is, what ways did you find to maximize your recovery and just improve the quality of your life? Like, tell us kind of the turning point when you're like, I'm doing this and I've figured out, where I want to go from here.
That was an interesting game of that involved Amanda Boxtell, Challenge Aspen. She heard of my accident, knew of my prior history of being very active lifestyle, and would come to Craig Hospital visiting and inviting me to come participate in Challenge Aspen. Inviting me to come bike ride, raft, and ski, and I just kind of looked at her with blank stare, like, you're absolutely crazy. I just broke my back and you want me to break my neck now. And this continued until February of '96, where she said, if you come do this interview for us, they want to capture a first-time sit ski lesson, and you're the last one in the valley to participate. If you do this, we'll leave you alone. I said, okay, you're on. And, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I did think it was unfortunate at the time. It was with Good Morning America. I thought it was just a local news program, but that kind of intensified my anxiety and fear, not only of, crash skiing, but having a camera in my face while doing it. But as soon as my ski hit that snow and I made a few turns, I realized that this is something that from my former life, that in my new life, that I could be passionate about again. And next thing you know, I wouldn't leave them alone, asking for continued lessons and training. And it actually became a second career for me. So.
And this was at what age? This was right after, a year after you had injured yourself?
Yeah, I got hurt June 11th in '95, and that first ski lesson was on February 12th, 1996.
So fast forward, now we are 28 years, 20, 25 years, 26 years down the road.
Yes.
And you've been racing ever, like, what happened with skiing since then?
By the end of my first season, I was skiing a black run. The next year, I got certified in Professional Ski Instructors of America, so I could return the favor to others. And all the while, forerunning half pipe events, forerunning other ski events, just to promote adaptive skiing in the best way that I could. And a few years later, I started trying to compete on the national level. But at that time, it was difficult being independent, not associated with a particular mountain. Winter Park had a race program. Salt Lake City had a race program, and it seemed they had coaches and they were part of that team. And showing up with just, hey, I can ski, was a little challenging. So I kind of returned to Aspen and continued forerunning events until the X Games arrived in Aspen, and I kind of let them know that I'm pretty accomplished adaptive skier, and it'd be great if I could forerun one of your events. And they asked me what I could do. I said I could go fast, catch a little air, and ride the half pipe. and riding the half pipe caught their attention. So the first 2 years, I foreran the super pipe event. And in the interim, I was talking with the US adaptive ski team. Wouldn't it be great if we could put together an event? And the sit ski skier cross evolved from there.
Wow. Well, and then, I mean, how did you know you could even go that fast? I think that's insane. Like, I don't know, I can't even wrap my brain around that.
Well, this is first ski was in 96. And so I had 5 or 6 years to progressively improve my skills, pushing myself just a little bit further each day until I was confident that I could compete on that level.
So 97 miles an hour, you're like, I'm totally in control. I'm just going to be able to stop when I need to. Is that how that goes?
Yes, in a matter of words.
I don't know. It's crazy. So, and then now where's your career? Like, what are you doing now?
Well, as I went back to the Hotel Jerome, and obviously I was no longer a food and beverage candidate. I went into sales, did really well in sales, but it just wasn't the right fit for me. And a position opened up in the accounting office, and thus began my career in accounting. And had an opportunity about 3 years before my last competition, the X Games. There was some disagreement with my employer at the time about my contracted time off to compete in the X Games. So I quit a very lucrative job. Next week, I won a silver in the X Games. And the week after that, I got picked up by the US adaptive ski team, and then traveled competing on the national and international level for the next 7 years.
How many years? 7?
7.
Oh my gosh.
And kind of knew that this was a rare opportunity, not only for an adaptive athlete, but I was in my mid 30s at the time. So that was even more of an opportunity that doesn't always present itself. So I began researching grants for a master's degree. And as soon as I retired from X Games and ski racing, I enrolled in a graduate degree program at Regis University to get my master's in accounting. And now I've worked for an accounting firm. One of my managing partners, Ski Hall of Famer. So.
Oh yeah, who's that? Are you done? I want to say.
Mike Merolt.
Yeah, cool.
But I just have X medals.
So that is quite the journey. If you were to give some advice to your previous self that was kind of prior to Amanda Boxtell, and then now your post new self, what would you have, what advice would you have given?
I would have said get a little bit more motivated, because when you're trying to juggle a ski career and an accounting career, um, as well as a marketing career, there's not a whole lot of time. But the rewards of those accomplishments, came to fruition, and
Well, and I guess what I want to know is, like, you kind of went from hopeless to creating this amazing life, right?
yeah, I found, excuse me, I found something to be passionate about again. And I often talk with other people who have spinal cord injuries, and I said, it doesn't have to be skiing. It can be something else, just something to be passionate about and something to engage in society again and to engage with others again. Um, and that's what really helped me.
Mhm.
I kind of stopped focusing on, where do I go from here, to, hey, this is something I do and I can do and I enjoy. And next thing you know, it brought about my confidence and my self-esteem.
Yeah. Where are you at now with skiing? Do you just go out for fun, or do you organize any other events, or how do you do it now?
I mainly ski for fun, but I do give back to Challenge Aspen when possible. The last several years, I've been working with the Israeli disabled vets and being partnered with one of the veterans and going out them and just really being just a ski model. Here's a turn. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that, and trying to encourage them and help them reach their goals of adaptive skiing.
Awesome. Well, we have in our plans, hopefully, to do some sort of adaptive skiing event. And actually, a lot of the people that we've interviewed want to kind of get together on a group chat about how to improve current sit skis, because everyone seems to have their opinion about what could make the technology better. It sounds like you would be the perfect guy for spearheading that kind of thing. Do you feel
I
like there's
certainly have a few ideas. That's I work with one particular manufacturer, and I've always been satisfied with his manufacturing. I do know of another project that Toyota is spearheading and doing a lot of research over the last several seasons to come up with a new sit ski as well.
That's so awesome. We have one of our spokespersons for Mods for Quads. Her name is Raji, and she contracted polio at the age of 3. So Mods for Quads is really kind of centered around neurological impairment as a whole. And I guess Toyota has a large division of hiring people with neurological impairment and SCI, and it's like kind of a big deal for Toyota. Did Are you familiar with that too? That part of Toyota?
I didn't know their employment practices, but I applaud them for it. I do know that that was one of my deciding factors in buying a new vehicle.
That's all I can drive too. I love Toyota. I love that they're simple. I don't want a lot of bells and whistles going on. Do you ever use or study, like, did you ever try to gain movement back or reconnect with your legs, or do you still work them out? What is your workout procedure, and are you still trying to gain back neurons and movement?
I, I have a standing frame, so I've always tried to keep my legs stretched out and put weight bearing on it because it promotes good bone health.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen, the different. I don't want to say miracle cures, but different medical breakthroughs, biotechnical breakthroughs, whether it's stem cell or these connectors that are trying to bridge a connection between the dead nerves and live nerves, and bring about a cure for paralysis. But I guess it's the accounting brain of mine. Before I go out there and try to raise money or invest money in a cure, I see kind of a more broader spectrum of people being healed from those different methodologies. I keep abreast of all the new breakthroughs, and well, this person was cured and that person was cured, but I've not seen it on a mass scale yet, and I'm still hoping for that day.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have to live your life today. If you're putting all your hope into the future without living today, then you're not really living at all.
No, I totally agree with you. I think one of the goals of Mods for Quads and what we're trying to do is spread awareness of what the practice of mindfulness and reconnecting to your body, and kind of not really giving up on those muscles that are down, to continue to work on them, even 15-20 minutes a day, that maybe that might make an impact down every day. It's like studying Spanish. You learn a couple words every day. You might grow a couple new neurons every day, or who knows, strengthen a little bit of muscle here or there, to change things up. But
yeah, I mean, you have to continue, because it helps your skin health, it helps your bone health. It really does help your mental health to stay active.
Well, do you have any questions for us, or actually any more advice or wisdom that you would want to give somebody watching this that may be a little bit hopeless, or is just starting out as a newly entered SCI?
It's definitely a traumatic experience. It definitely affects your outlook on life, and you have to find something that re-engages you with life and your community around you. Mine was skiing, but that might be different for other people. It's just trying to focus on what you can do rather than you can't do. Staying active with life, staying active with the community, your loved ones, your friendships, and keep hoping for the future. But through those activities and engagement, live your life today.
I think that's great advice. Adam, do you have anything you want to add?
Not specifically, but I wanted to thank you, Sam, for joining us. And Sam's personally someone that I drew a lot of inspiration from when I was injured. So thanks again for that, Sam.
You're very welcome, Adam, and it's always a pleasure to come hang out with you and ski with you. And hopefully this summer we can do that birthday camp out again. Looking forward to that.
Oh yes, I heard all about you, Sam, many times, about your fishing and your tent and your getting out there and making it happen. And another thing, we'd like to do a couple events. One would be some sort of sit ski event here when the world comes a little bit more back to normal, but also mountain biking. So I don't know if you've started trying that yet, or have heard about a couple of adaptive trails that we have going in. There's one in the Marble area or Redstone area, and there's one potentially up by CMC in Glenwood by us. So maybe
yes, I do have a mountain bike, and please don't hesitate to call. I would love to join and be a part of the group.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, I know you have to jump off. Thank you, and we will be in touch.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Adam. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Sam. Great to see you, man.
You too.